Right, we're live, and we're running a little bit late, which means we're not going to do the countdown. We're just going to dive straight in, I think. If anything, because I don't want to keep Dan waiting, because Dan is currently in the Javits Center. I think he's struggling to get picture at the moment, but I'm curious as to see what's going on there. Fingers crossed. Hopefully Dan will be joining us. If you are watching, it means you're a subscriber, and we've got a bunch of new subscribers this week. I'm really happy about that. Thank you so much indeed for jumping on. If you are a subscriber and you've hit the notification bell, you know we're live on a Sunday. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. Yeah, Dan, I know, is fighting his own technical issues in the Javits Center. It's a convention center. Of course, it's going to be really difficult to get any kind of signal. He says he's going to try and find somewhere a little bit quieter, or at least somewhere that he can kind of get a decent signal. Tell you what, let's do the opening credits and dive in and see what happens, shall we? Right then, everybody, welcome along to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana. No cup of tea for me today, but I do have a mango passion smoothie, which will tide me through. So yeah, that's going to go straight into my cup, and I will use that to keep me nicely hydrated through this. Each and every Sunday, we talk Comic-Cons, con culture, and all the stuff and nonsense we get to enjoy at shows. Welcome along. It's good to have you here, especially those who are new subscribers. Thank you so much indeed for that, because if anything, we really do appreciate every single time that you do subscribe. It allows to get more eyeballs on the show, talking about cons, talking about things that we're enjoying. And I got about 6 or 7 notifications this week of brand new subscribers. We want to try and get more people on board. So please, if you are a new fresh face to the show, if you're either watching this live or watching this on the replay, thank you so much indeed. If you are watching this live, well, of course, jump in, let us know what you're up to, and please let us know what your thoughts are and where you are. Andrew English is joining us, evening from London. I think it was yourself that I was asking last week about how the studio's going. It's going. Everything's out of there now. It just needs decorating at this point. I think the major thing in there before anything really happens is like a carpet. So we'll get the carpet in there, we'll get it all sorted out, and then hopefully we can move upstairs and have a dedicated broadcast space. Into the Bloomers is watching. Hello, folks. Hello there. Toby's saying hello. Good morning, Leonard. Hello, Toby. Who else we got on board? We've got Michael P, who's joining us. Good morning from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hello there, Michael. How the devil are you? Shane is watching as well. Hello, Len. Got my kettle on. You see, this is where things got a little bit tense, because we've it's been last week. I'm a little bit more animated than I was last week. And thank you very much indeed for bearing with us for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, a little bit more animated. Things are developing, hopefully in the right direction. There's a little bit more eating going on, which is always a good sign, but we'll see what happens. But no, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Shane. Celestial Meg, a creative drink to spill over your electronics. I will sit further back. Smoothie on top of laptop. Never good. Into the Blue Mister, I have a bottle of Chardonnay to keep you hydrated. You know what? I don't think that's quite how alcohol works, but you know what? You do you. It's a Sunday and it's the weekend. You're allowed. This was Smeg. I think it's less dangerous than your chicken korma. This is true. Chicken korma on a keyboard, never fun either. But there we go. Right. I'm going to message Dan again, because he did jump on just before we came on air, and he was trying his best to get up and running. But honestly, we want to try and bring you at least sign of what it's actually happening on the floor of the convention center. So I'm going to drop Dan another message and see what happens. Because if you've not been paying attention to your social media, I don't know how on earth you missed it. It is, of course, the big show at the Javits Convention Center in New York. It is New York Comic Con happening right now, and my word, has it turned into quite a show. We're going to talk about several things that have been announced this weekend, and we're going to talk about how it's held in place, considering last weekend we talked about how New York Comic Con in the past hasn't been a massive show for breaking news, or at least it's not one of those shows that has gotten itself a reputation for that. But this time, I think they've kind of like gone, you know what, we need to address this. And they've gone to the people that they have exhibiting at New York Comic Con, and they've said, we want to try and get this in Variety, Deadline, Entertainment Weekly. We want to try and make sure that New York Comic Con is a show which you go to reveal new stuff. When we've had stuff like things coming out of Neil Gaiman's face straight off the back of his Harvey Awards Hall of Fame inductee on Friday. He had himself a whole weekend of stuff, including talking about Sandman Act 3, for Audible. That came out just before the weekend, but of course you also had Good Omens as well. That's got its announcement and its panel over the course of the weekend. So he's had a hell of a weekend. Yesterday or last night on Saturday evening, Star Trek was certainly the show that dominated and had plenty of stuff to show, including that for fans for Star Trek Online, considering that, yes, we are going to be having the Next Generation cast joining Picard for his new series coming out in February next year. But yes, they are going to be jumping on board the Enterprise F, which looked very, very pretty indeed, and it's straight out of Star Trek Online. So that cross-pollination of different media, again, being celebrated at New York Comic Con. So very, very cool indeed. Into the Bloomer side, I'm quite in a few comic collecting groups, and the photos of NYCC sketch from people like Frank Cho, Lee Weeks, and Art Adams are outstanding. Absolutely. I've been doing my best to share commissions and sketches that artists have been putting up on my social. So please do check out certainly the Con Collective without the I, because there's no I in collective. So do check that out. But I've also been trying to share them as well on EnglishmanSDCC as well. Some incredible art coming out of Artist Alley. It's Artist Alley has always been incredibly strong at New York Comic Con, but my word, it's definitely stepped up its game this time around. Very, very cool indeed. No message from Dan, so he's either really struggling with his signal or very, very interesting indeed. We'll see what we can get out of that. Tell you what, while we've got that happening, I do want to bring up a question of the week. We kind of skipped it for the last couple of weeks, and I want to try and bring it back because it's a big question with a lot of stuff to kind of add to it, because you can kind of take this on board any way that you like. The question of the week, if I can just dig it up this time around. Here we are. There we go. It's about the bigger cons. It's about those bigger shows, because yes, we can really enjoy the smaller shows where they're a little bit more intimate. They're in the sports hall, or they're in the village hall, or in the town hall somewhere, and they're small and they're intimate, and you can get around them in 20 minutes if you really put your clip on, and you can kind of that's a nice small intimate show, and you can kind of spend time and talk to artists, talk to people you've not spoken to before, maybe discover a new creative that you've not come across, especially when it comes to indie creators and self-publishing. But then you've got the MegaCon experience, those big shows like New York Comic Con, like San Diego Comic Con, like ICE, like Thought Bubble, those big shows where you've got not hundreds but thousands of people showing up. which point then the question becomes, what are your favorite elements of those experiences? What's the best thing about the MegaCon experience? But also, what's the worst thing? And let's see if we can be a little bit more creative about your answers as well, because we don't have to talk about just, oh, it's too crowded. Well, yes, that just comes with being in a room with lots of people. But there's very specific gripes that you can possibly have. I mean, for example, the best thing about the MegaCon experience for myself is the smorgasbord of choice. It's the ability to go into different corners of a huge space and discover something new about maybe a pop culture brand, or even a like gaming element, or something that you are not familiar with, that you just pass and out of the corner of your eye, soon you discover your new favorite obsession. But then, of course, the worst thing, and I think for me at the moment, is just that the con crud, and the fact that nowadays con crud means something else entirely. What does that mean for you? So, what's the best thing about the MegaCon experience? The kind of show like Emerald City Comic Con, like New York Comic Con, that kind of thing. Do let us know. We've got Mr. Bloomer. Hey, I was watching Cartoonist Kayfabe yesterday. Yay! Good show if you get the chance to check that out on YouTube, where they looked at Keith Gethin's Image of Shadowhawk title, and guess who was a colorist? Our very own Clydeen Nee. Yes, Clydeen is known for those who pay attention as obviously the person who runs Artist Alley at San Diego Comic-Con, but she is an incredibly accomplished and highly recognized colorist. If you do get the chance to check out her work, she's very, very good. She's very, very good indeed. But there we go. Toby as well, Con Life tip, get a decent power brick for your devices. Yeah, I mean, we could also talk about, let's get into one of the big things, obviously, something that we are going to get into today, is next weekend. Saturday is a big day for those who attended San Diego Comic-Con last July, because, well, we have ourselves the news that we are having the returning registration for 2023. And it's happening next week. So we're going to get into all of that very shortly indeed. But yeah, for myself also, we could talk about some of the worst thing about the MegaCon experience: the price of the tickets, or the price of the badges. The prices, certainly for San Diego, have gone up considerably, and we're going to talk about that for that kind of perspective. What can you say then about the best thing about the MegaCon experience, the worst thing? So let's just smeg. Bigger cons draw bigger names that you may not see for the rest of the year. Indeed, we've got ourselves, when it comes to the talent that you can actually get some kind of photo opportunity with at New York, it does seem that's a little bit more restrictive, because it looks like the studios are wanting to be a little bit protective of their talent. The publishers are wanting to kind of keep things nicely controlled. So everything's very much in a locked environment at New York this time around. But the names are there, so it's a case of at least they can be interacted with at some point. But it is just a case of in a very more controlled environment than we have had in pre-COVID and pre-lockdown years. So it really is an interesting vibe at New York this time around. But the artists, the Artist Alley, which is, like I say, has always been incredibly strong at San Diego, at New York Comic Con, sorry, has been incredible this time around. The Artist Alley, it's just been phenomenal. There we go. Veronica Nunes, I finally qualify for pre-reg and I have no money to spend. I could show you my bank balance and it's non-existent. I think I'm going to be applying for press. I'm going to be applying for the panels. I may have to because, yes, I also have very little in the way of funds, but the missus is going to be applying. So we are going to be doing a kind of live report next week. As it happens, I don't know if anyone's going to be watching mine, considering that, yes, the unofficial blog are going to be doing theirs. So do pay attention to their channel, because they're going to be doing their thing next Saturday. So please do join.
Go to the smallest spot.
This tail right here.
I mean, he said it was too loud, but I think that's more than tolerable. How are you doing, Dan?
Doing good. Can you hear me okay?
Can indeed, and it's a good solid picture. It's looking rather cool there, actually. Yeah. Yes, even for a Sunday, looking particularly busy indeed. What is it? 1:30, 1:15, something like that.
I can't hear you.
Don't worry. You just wander around, and we'll get what you get. Are you in a line for something?
It's too noisy. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Okay. I'm trying to work out how we can communicate. Then I'm just wondering if it's best if I just send him a message. Yeah, I think we'll just try sending him a message and see what happens.
Right now, I'm in the line for James Tynan to get his autograph.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. In that case, say hi to James for me. See if that comes up on his screen, and hopefully he'll see it.
Oh, I will do that.
I'm good. Any messages that you want me to send through, and we'll text him through. Looking busy. How's the vibe?
Okay, now I can hear you a little bit better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got everything from suggestions of smoke signals to marker and a dry whiteboard.
Yes, it's very noisy down here. It's like a 50-foot ceiling, so everything echoes.
Well, yeah, that's Artist Alley for you.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, you've been before. You know New York Comic Con pretty well.
No, I do not. This is my first time.
Is it your first time? Wow.
It's my first time in
so
New York. Yeah.
In that case, what's it been like in terms of your expectations and what you've experienced?
It's a very well put together con. I mean, the Artist Alley here, it takes down this whole second level with probably a few hundred easily different creators. So it's a massive Artist Alley, and it's a terrific one. It blows away any Artist Alley I've seen before. Emerald City comes close, but this one just blows it away.
Highlights?
I
mean, obviously James Tynan.
One more time, sorry.
James Tynan, obviously a highlight, but highlights for yourself of the Artist Alley?
Just highlights of Artist Alley. Just seeing creators who I haven't seen before and talking to the ones I have before, like Matt Hawkins, Temple Smith. Just seeing it, just being blown away by how many different creators I've never seen in person are at the show. Like Ron V is here.
Cool. I mean, I see you very close to the Scots
Yes.
table. It was really encouraging to see them put a post up saying that they don't take any fees for signings, but they do take donations for a charity. I think that's a nice touch, and I think that should be encouraged.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like one of the artists I got some book signed, Jamal Eagle, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Any signings he does really charges whatever you give him, he'll donate to Hero Initiative, which is very cool.
Very nice. What do you think? Are you thinking for your how long is it going to be for your signing with James?
It looks like I'm about 20 people back.
Right. Okay. So what I was going to suggest was, if you want to take your time, do that, and then jump back on when you're done, and then we'll get a little bit more of a roving report from you.
Yeah, because after this, I was going to run back upstairs so I can give you a little bit of roving report. I'll be handing over to Bill Sinkovich's table in a few, so I can kind of rove as I go over there.
Excellent. So what we're going to do is we'll have a look at then pre-reg for next week for San Diego Comic Con. We'll come back to you, and we'll see how you do.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, man.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, I mean, I know that he's stuck in a queue, and it's very difficult for us to hear each other. So let's let him do what he's doing and let him get on with it, and then we'll hopefully speak to him once he's spoken to, gotten to chat with James Tynan the 4th, who himself is having one hell of a weekend as well. Obviously, he's got plenty of stuff on his plate. Lots of new books that are coming out from him. Tom King's got a whole bunch that have been announced. It was great to see the announcement about Superman as well. that it's looks like DC are leaning into the year of Superman for 2023. That could also lean into the reports possible that we are going to be seeing Henry Cavill in Shazam at some point, but who knows about that? Like I say, it's all about news that's coming out of New York, which is very, very cool indeed. But we'll talk to Dan once he's been into his line. So tell you what, before we speak to him, let's get into then San Diego Comic-Con happening next weekend. It is the pre-registration, giving us a bit of a tease of what we can expect also from the registration that we can expect for open registration taking place beginning of next year. But attend San Diego Comic-Con 2023. You need to purchase a badge during one of our 2 attendee badge sales, returning or open registration. Is a first attendee badge sale open for all returning attendees. And let's go through a couple of the big questions then. When is returning registration? It is. It says there. We have no idea for the returning registration, but the open registration is taking place this Saturday to come. This is. Let's see if we've got any of the information on here. It's all about the member ID, making sure that that's available, and also making sure you're eligible to take part in a returning registration. Anyone who with a valid and confirmed member ID, not registered for 4-day preview night, eligible to participate in open registration, but returning registration. Here we are, member ID portal. Shall I open that up and let's go from that? Hopefully it won't bring up any of my details. So tell you what, I'm going to very quickly remove that for the moment. Let's just make you think I mix those up. You're absolutely right. So let me just log into the existing member ID. And let's see if we can pull up some more information about returning registration. So there we go. Yeah, okay. No, let's try another one then, because it is going to be the wife's member ID, which we're obviously going to be logging in on, because she is the one that's going to be applying for a badge and taking part in a badge team as well. Frankly, if you are not part of a badge team, get yourself on Reddit, get yourself on the Friends of Comic-Con forum, get on to whatever groups that you need to, and grab hold of all the friends and that you can gather, because of course a badge team is absolutely essential. Let's have a look here. So returning registration. She is eligible. We've got no details there as yet. Here we are. It's all starting to order up. Cool. I'm trying to just see what the actual member ID looks like at the moment for returning registration. And it does look like a little... It's a little sparse for now. But then again, it is due to the information that's obviously going to get... lined up for Saturday. We've got the emails starting to go out. Well, the emails have gone out, but yes, it's taking place Saturday, October the 15th, 9 p.m. at 9 a.m. Pacific. Obviously, you must have attended San Diego Comic-Con, or indeed Comic-Con Special Edition in 2021 as a general attendee. Now, press, trade professionals, volunteers, other special groups having their registration at a later date. You do have to sign into your member ID to make sure that you are eligible, of course. Into the Blue Mister. Badge teams were how I got my tickets in 2013, 2014. I cannot recommend this system. Yeah, let's have a look at it. I think the totally non-Irish coffee might be kicking in. I shouldn't be kicking this. Don't drink and caffeinate, kids. Absolutely. Yeah. So, again, what we're going to be having is it's all being handled by QIT. So we're going to be they're using that as the administration this time. It was the same administration they used for special edition as well. So it's all done within the member ID account and on the page. On the day of the sale, you log into the waiting room via the member ID account, and shortly, beginning at 8 a.m. Pacific, you are going to be able to enter the waiting room if you are eligible for retaining registration. And for that hour, you are then placed into a virtual waiting room. And then shortly after 9 a.m., that's when the badge sale will start. The waiting room will randomly sort you into an order to purchase badges. You have yourself during the sale. You can get up to three badges, one for yourself and also two buddies as well. It doesn't guarantee anyone's going to get their badge, but it is all about demand, supply, availability, and obviously off the success of July 2022, this is going to be an incredibly popular con. And I can imagine these sales will be selling out, or this badge sale will sell out in pretty much the same kind of fashion as we saw pre-COVID. So less than an hour or just over an hour's time, I think pretty much everything all will done. We have the unofficial blog. Let's just bring them up on another page. They roughly estimate around 55,000 badges up for grabs, which will put your odds of scoring one between somewhere around 50%, although presumably a bit less this year, with the addition of the Comic-Con special edition attendees. That's what their guessing is, and I have no reason to dissuade you from that. But yes, I mentioned that the prices are up. A 4-day badge with preview night running you $330 compared to last year's $304, with a $10 handling fee per attendee. And we also have individual dates prices as well. We have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday badge prices at $75, Sunday badge price at $50, with junior and US and military and senior at $37 a day and $25 for the Sunday. Children under 5 are free with a paying adult. No change there, but yeah, like I say, it is going to be an increased price, which means if you are struggling with funds, this is not going to help at all. Here in the UK, as you've probably heard, we are having incredible difficulties with our economy, especially off the back of a mini budget that was announced a couple of weeks back. The world's attention on the pound and the dollar, pound against many currencies, has meant that our exchange rate here in the UK has tanked to an all-time low, or it's certainly 2 weeks ago to an all-time low, almost reaching parity at $1, equaling £1. Just a horrific set of circumstances. The amount of UK attendees that are turning around and saying, if this is the way that the market is going to go and how it seems to be kind of staying, it's going to be almost impractical to visit the US, just unable to afford it. This is going to be a very expensive badge sale, especially for UK attendees. But that's the issue that has happened. The unofficial blog mentioned about this as being the first year CCI is using their own internal system for a badge sale with the help of Qit, although they have used it for badge sales for other conventions. It makes a change, as they previously used Expo Logic, and the system so far has been slow and crashed a few times during badge registration events. So will it be able to handle the onslaught on the 15th? The unofficial blog say we sure hope so. But your thoughts on this, considering that, like I say, is about a lot of demand placed on those servers, and considering that this is going to be an incredibly popular show for people to attend, we've got lots of people diving in. Once again, we're looking for your answers for the question of the week. The best thing about the MegaCon experience, and of course the worst thing. Let's have a look at this. Solicitor Smeg, yeah, there's no way this will blow up in everyone's faces. It's not like when CCI tries new stuff, bad things happen. What's that ticking noise I hear? I get you. I think that, as always, it's about test driving, and they say that they test drive, but it's all about having the personnel on board to do so. And we've spoken already about CCI and the bodies on board. Hopefully, they're the IT people are on board. Fingers crossed on that one. Not just about the pound either. We're also talking about the euro as well. So people coming from outside of the US, this is going to be an extremely expensive convention, even to just buy the badges for this time around. Veronica Nunes, euro's been very low too. Euro's been low. I'm shocked when I pay an invoice for less than the euro amount. And Andrew English reminds us that at the moment it is £1 equaling $1.11, which is incredibly tough for those that are wanting to attend into the bat sale. Toby, I have to do some adulting. I'll watch the rest of the show on the replay. All the best to you, Toby. Look after your squire. For the question of the week, Aaron Neighbours is jumping in. Best thing is the amount and variety of panels. Worst thing is poor line and crowd management. Yes, I'll put that forward. Although certainly having a couple of people that I spoke to at San Diego Comic-Con back in July, it's not so much crowd management because they can only deal with the people that they've got to kind of help manage those lines, and most of those people are volunteers. The volunteers are willing, the effort is there, the mind to put this show on is there. For me, I think it's just down to, it's always communication. Communication with your artists, communication with your attendees, and communication with your fans, with your own team. If the communication breaks down, that's when I think a con really kind of struggles. The amount of people that have been online this weekend and turned around and said that we just don't have an ounce of the information that we get out of San Diego Comic-Con, purely because the San Diego Comic-Con has, number one, a highly active fan base wanting to spread the word and share as much as they possibly can, but also the unofficial blog. And indeed, sites like myself, they don't have a dedicated open line of communication with their fans. I tried to get Christina Rogers, the head of, or the event director of New York Comic Con, on the show. We just got no line of communication there. So again, we weren't able to spread as much information as we possibly could. So very difficult for me. Yeah. Off the back of what Aaron Neighbour says, worst thing, crowd management, it's down to, that is a element of the communication that a show puts on. Solicitor Smeg. So the worst case scenario, hang on, what's that? Your money being equal to us is the worst case scenario. Doesn't say much for our country. True. Into the Bloomer, what's the going rate for selling belly parts? My own, not other people's. Hey, listen, don't ever knock that opportunity. If you can slice up a friend, maybe a friend is willing to give up a liver just so you can go to a Comic-Con. Never pass up. Just never say never. All right, that's all I can say. Comics by the Bay. Hello there. What's up, guys? Welcome along. Fresh face. Good to have you joining us. Any thoughts for yourself about the best thing about the MegaCon experience? Worst thing? Are you heading a con at the moment? Are you at New York? Are you at Twitch maybe? If you were at Twitch, did you go see Megan Thee Stallion's concert last night? Good grief, how about that for a an offsite? Held in the Padres, held in the stadium in Pego. Good grief. That's a hell of a thing to have, and sponsored by Twitch. So it's an actual Twitchcon offsite. So it can be done. So yeah, how's that work? Yeah, Michael P, the communication is absolutely right. It's less crowd management and more line management. Absolutely. Solicitor Smeg, I still remember the story Leonard and his wife were telling about the moving Hull H line at SDCC this year. Yes, I think it was more about the that was ADA more than anything. They over subscribed by putting too many lines down for ADA. They kind of told or made people think that they were going to be getting in off the back of those lines when there were clearly no way that we're going to have enough wristbands, enough seats for ADA for that amount of people. And again, it was just down to lack of communication. So there we go. Comics, by the way. Nowhere, good old Florida, jealous of all the NYCC videos. Tell me about it. My word, the amount of stuff that's coming out of New York is very impressive indeed. So there we go. I'm just trying to think what else we can kind of talk about. Hopefully you are taking part. If you jump on, let me know. Are you taking part in the returning registration? Are you excited about it? Is it something that interests you as a fan? Is it something that you feel that you can get your head around? The fact that you're going to have the Qit virtual waiting room. It is something that is going to, I think, shake a lot of people up if you take part in the badge sale for San Diego Comic-Con special edition. It's just going to be very hard indeed to kind of get your head around. But like I say, all driven off the back of the in your member ID. Best thing to do, of course, check in with your member ID and just check that it's all been done and you're all registered for it and up for it. If there isn't, you do need to contact them within the course of the week and make sure that it's all hosted. Remember that we got the Qit virtual room, but it's all been done by Configio. Now, Configio, they do concert badge sales. They have done other conventions as well. But yeah, the one thing I would say about Configio, trying to get hold of them is nigh on impossible. We had some details which we had to change or wanted to change for Caroline's registration. And while it was changed apparently on the CCI database, it wasn't changed by Configio, and it took a couple of days for them to get their head around putting that information in sync. And it really kind of worried us for a while, but no, thankfully it's all kind of done. But still, off the back of no communication from Configio, it just kind of did it with no notification that that was the case. So it got a little bit not stressful, but certainly it raised some questions about what Configio can actually do in terms of a company. Let's drop a line to Dan, see how it's going. Because what I may do is quickly drop in with him, and we may just kind of wrap this up, unless there's any other questions and things that you want to talk about. Next weekend, it is going to be a live report. I actually thought this was going to be a live report this weekend from Lakes International Comic Art Festival. Not in Kendall this year, but it's taking place at the Lake Windermere in the Lake District, a little bit further afield, a little bit further up the country, and a little bit more isolated, hoping that phone signal holds up, but the plan is that I'm going to be attending on the Sunday, so hopefully going to be speaking to a whole bunch of people, getting a bunch of interviews, and hopefully getting one or two maybe faces on the live report next weekend, Lakes International Comic Art Festival. The reason why last weekend I actually thought it was this weekend is because it does traditionally fall on the New York Comic Con weekend. So it was one of the two. But no, as it happens, with the Lakes International Comic Arts Festival next weekend. It's the Blue Mister. Best thing about the cons is the talent it attracts. Where else can you attend a con? SDCC, that Frank Cho, Mike Mignola, and Jeff Darrow all at one table with virtually no queue at times. Yeah, who was it that I spotted on several occasions? David Mack. David Mack had no a line really this time round. Who else was there? Chris Saunders, which really kind of freaked me out, considering that I mean, he's the creator of Stitch, he's the creator of Toothless, he's master animator, he's just a real kind of a true legend, and he didn't have much of a line when it came to his queue, which was at San Diego, which really kind of freaked me out. Very, very strange indeed. But yeah, all very cool to see. But yeah, the fact that they had no lines was very, very weird. Let's have a look at this. We have yep, Twitchcon. Lots of people asking about that. held at the convention center. It's not being held in the full hall. I believe it's taking up from H down to C. So it's about 2/3 of the hall. They're not using upstairs either. But yeah, it's proving to be a very popular convention. And indeed, it's apparently one of the more lucratively viable conventions, especially for the convention center. Which is very, very cool. I think a lot of people seem to think that because San Diego Comic-Con brings all these incredible people to the amount of people to the convention, they think that all the money flows into the convention center. That's not why it's a big draw for San Diego, because it brings the money into the city itself. So yeah, it's all about that. Let's see what else we've got here. Yes. Okay. Some people have asked me to make a comment on this, and yeah, I think I'll dive in on this one. At the beginning of the week, we lost someone very important to myself, because he is was a true master artist, a true maestro. Every time I shared stuff, I did post it under the title maestro. But I think a lot of people, creatives, were very upset to hear that we had lost Kim Jong-gi this on Monday. He was returning from a European show and was preparing to fly to New York, where he was going to be very much a featured guest at the convention. However, he suffered from chest pains while getting prepared for his flight to New York, taken into hospital, into surgery to examine, and unfortunately he didn't survive, and we lost somebody at a tragically young age, 47, which is just, it's no age at all. It really is. The fact that we have incredible talents that have not only been sharing their memories of Kim Jong-gi, but also, I mean, this was actually this is a table that was set up at the table, which was going to be Kim's table at New York, at which point it became a tribute table where people could come and spread their love for Kim Jong-gi. As it happens, this, I believe, is the very start of that particular table. It grew, and I've been trying to find pictures or video of this particular table, not only here, but also at a convention in France, which he had recently attended, a French festival. It's heartbreaking because it really does ram home the statement that you absolutely, if you can, meet your heroes. Kim is his last name, absolutely. And I was lucky enough to meet him twice. He came to Thought Bubble in 2016, where he not only had a couple of panels, I believe he had a table as well, but he took over an entire wall of the outside of the Royal Armouries, what was the Savills Hall, or what is now the New Dock Hall, and had a massive white piece of art paper up, Into the Blue Mister. I think it was exactly, well, it would have been exactly the same time. I saw him draw at Thought Bubble. He was incredible. And to go from ink straight to paper is a phenomenal talent. I was stood next to Duncan Fegredo himself, no slouch, and turned around and we basically said, this is an incredible talent. How on earth is he doing this? And we just couldn't work it out. Indeed, Duncan Figueiredo were just basically saying that it was just magic. It was just absolute magic that he was performing on paper right there in front of us, and to see this incredible work of the creator, like I say, going straight from ink to paper. It's nothing short of miraculous. A phenomenal talent, and like I say, he is going to be dearly missed. 47 is just a ridiculous age to lose somebody, and yes, for myself, he is certainly going to be missed. Incredible. Kim Jong-gi, who passed away on Monday. But there you go. There was a tribute that was placed on the table. I'm trying to do my best to get some more information and get another picture of an updated photo. But if I do pay attention to my socials, because I will share it on there. Head to EnglishmanSDCC, and we'll do our best to spread the word on that and share what tributes are being made for Kim Jong-gi. Something that was posted by his team, the studio team, was flowers. Instead of leaving flowers at the table, to draw flowers, and also just draw flowers across social media. If you are an artist, if you want to spread your tribute, if you want to draw a flower for Kim Jong-gi, I think that would be incredibly touching and sweet. Lee MD, he was incredibly talented. Yes, absolutely, and indeed, 47, so young, into the blue mist. I couldn't believe this news when I heard it. Tragic news, and gone way too soon. Incredible. Okay, we're getting no word from Dan Berry, which means I suspect he's still buried deep in that line, wanting to get to speak to James Tynan IV. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to miss out on that. But from what I've been sensing from social media, people have been very much excited about attending New York Comic Con, but there have been very much consternation about the fact that there's been no mask mandate that's been enforced, considering that New York at the moment is going through increased numbers when it comes to COVID. Now, I know that the general consensus is that we have to get through and make a new normal somewhere. We have to draw a line and kind of become responsible when it comes to COVID, and that we can't just remain in hiding. And I don't believe that that is the case. I would not encourage people to go to events like New York Comic Con if that was the case. However, I believe that we all must show some kind of responsibility for each other. And I think a mask is the best way to do that. It is a simple step. It's a simple act of generosity and compassion. And it's just, for me, it makes no sense to not wear a mask. Solicitor makes saying, I thought NYCC was requiring masks. Officially, yes, it is. The thing is, it's very difficult to enforce it when there's nobody on the floor actually asking for masks or any kind of keeping a track on what was going on the floor. And there's no kind of motivation for people to mask up and stay safe, which is a shame. Winchester's pilot screening is about to kick off in New York Comic Con, which shows that we are still seeing some great brands and titles coming out of the show. Like I say, Star Trek, of all brands, did an incredible job of getting people's attention, certainly for the new season of Picard, new seasons of Lower Deck on the way as well, and they just did a great job of getting the word out for that. And I think that's where New York Comic Con is doing its absolute damnedest to spread the word. However, when it comes to the so let's just see what else was going on. I think the focus remains on Artist Alley, and it's now another step for ReedPOP, especially off the back of the likes of major publishers and studios still staying away from events like New York and San Diego. They now have to kind of look at alternative ways to spread the word and get the word out. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look at this because it's always great to have legends appear on stage, or at least saying hello to people. Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox to a standing ovation and a hell of a reception at New York Comic Con 2022. Absolutely. Let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, 37 years after Back to the Future, and a massive ovation for that. But yeah, it's great to have New York Comic Con embracing not only all of the news that's coming out of DC, out of Boom Studios, out of all of these major studios that have attended, but also embracing the legacy as well. I think we've got one last chance to kind of get a report cranberry. I think. Have you got did you get your signature, mate? And at which point we've lost him. I think he's going to try and make himself up. So, oh, here we go. You may not be able to hear us.
I can't really hear you. Hold on.
No, I didn't think so. But we're certainly getting a vibe of it. We're getting a sense of the masks. Okay, so let's see how many people are masked up on the floor.
I'm heading over right now to Bill Sienkiewicz and/or in Huckley. I can't hear you.
It's okay. We're just watching the sights.
Okay. Yeah, this is the main lobby right here.
Because we were just talking about masks and how they seem to not have appeared at San Diego this time. Sorry, New York this time, because people have been sharing that masks are not there.
Yes, even though it's supposed to be mandatory.
Right.
Yes, but as you can clearly see, it is not.
Turn around. Let's see the crowd.
I'm wearing one.
Oh, there we go.
But
I was hoping to see the crowd down on the floor.
Yep, and here we are on the exhibit floor.
People are wanting to get back to conventions. Simple as.
Okay, the service here sucks, and you're breaking up bad.
It's okay. We can see your picture. We can see you see the video just about. Yeah, I think we've kind of frozen him there. I'm going to leave him on. You never know. He may kick back in. Into the blue, mister. I got my 4th Jovid cat jab last week. Still feel wary. My booster is next Thursday. Yes, I'm looking forward to getting that under my belt. Yeah, I think he's disappeared for the moment. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Solicitor Smeg, it's not about going, it's about being safe. And if your argument is that you can't breathe in the mask, then you're too sick to be there. Absolutely. If you can't breathe on an N95 mask, then you have a breathing situation, and therefore you absolutely should be wearing one. But there we go. Yeah, he's showing that we've got he's sent a message, no signal. That's a shame. Never mind. We got to see some of it. We got to see some of the vibe, and it definitely looks like we're back to speed, aren't we? We're back up to what it felt like pre-COVID, with that kind of excitement, that kind of news coming out of a show, that amount of people in a room with a handful wearing masks. Yeah, I'm very curious to see about Thought Bubble. That takes place in about a month's time, first or second weekend in November. My room is booked, my tickets are booked, all ready to go. Last year, it felt like the safest convention ever, if anything, because we were all wearing masks. How it's going to be in 2022 is going to be something else. But yeah, I'm going to tell you what, we're going to let you everyone get off because as the MD says, I've got a lot to do today. Wish you all luck for pre-reg on Saturday. Pre-registration next Saturday. I'm going to do my best to do some kind of live stream, but just in case you find yourself torn between my live stream and the unofficial blogs, check out theirs because they definitely have form with following these the badge sales happening next Saturday. Okay, so this is October the 15th. Please do join us for if you are taking part. Best of luck. It is going to be at the waiting room is going to open at 8 a.m. Pacific, with the badge sale starting properly at 9 a.m. an hour later. You'll get your links through an email, but also you can just log into your member ID and just check that you are eligible to take part. And the link will be available, officiated and run by San Diego Comic-Con with their partner. And it's going to be all done in-house. How that's going to work with that amount of people diving onto that website all at once, I'll be paying close attention. Hopefully you will too. So please do join us next Saturday for that. And then, of course, on Sunday, we'll talk about lakes. We'll talk about and how the badge sale went. So hopefully you can join us for all of that. For myself, thank you very much indeed for joining us for today. I know it's been a little bit haphazard, but that's all down to the signal at the Javits Center. Hopefully you're excited about, all the news that's still coming out of New York Comic Con. It's still got several hours to go. So very much paying attention to social media and seeing what else is to come out of New York Comic Con 2022. Right. From me to you, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Live report next week from Lake Windermere as I attend Lake's Comic Art Festival. Hopefully you can join us for that. And we'll also do, like I say, our post badge sale examination of returning registration, San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Take care, see you later, and have yourself a good week, safe week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.